Spain is now the reigning champion in all competitions except the Men's World Cup. Crazy, right? It's been a golden period for Spanish football, both internationally and in Europe. Real Madrid and Barcelona have been the most successful clubs in the UEFA Champions League in the last 20 years. Is Spain the greatest nation of the last 25 years? Let us know what you think in the comments below. It's a clear and humid July evening at the NSK Olympik Stadium in Kyiv, Ukraine. Xabi Alonso controls the ball in his half. He pings a pass to Sergio Busquets, who has found space in the center. He swivels effortlessly and fires a missile of a pass forward that cuts through Italy's entire midfield and defensive unit. The pass meets the run of the onrushing Fernando Torres, now behind the defense. He unselfishly squares the ball to an unmarked Juan Mata, who strokes it into an empty net. It's 4-0. This was the Euro 2012 final. Spain had just beaten Italy to win their third straight major tournament. They had brushed aside a team with Pirlo, Chiellini, Bonucci, De Rossi, and Buffon. The result was impressive, but it was secondary. Spain had no recognized striker, and their performance astonished. Instead, they used a 4-6-0 formation. It showed fluidity, skill, and perfect tactics. Italy looked like tired greyhounds in a race. Their opponents' control of the ball left them despairingly chasing a prize just out of reach. They passed the Azzurri into submission, leaving them dizzy and bewildered. Spain had reached a level of performance, mentality, natural ability, and success that few other teams ever had. But how did Spain become so revolutionary tactically? Why do they often start the current trends in football? It is because Spanish coaches take inspiration from basketball. Yes, Spain is known for basketball. It has had NBA stars like Luka Doncic and Pau Gasol play in its league. Basketball has key concepts: small-sided, ball retention, smart movement, and positioning. If you consider the importance of the pivot in basketball and Spanish football, you'll see an immediate blend. Xavi was effectively the point guard in the great Spain teams. Basketball and football share a few similarities. Both are invasion sports. You must invade the opponent's territory, score points, and minimize their score, all within a time limit. In preseason, Pep Guardiola was seen at the NBA Finals. He watched the Boston Celtics play the Dallas Mavericks at Wimbledon Center Court. He even gave a speech to the Boston Celtics players. The speech was about the best way to win championships in football and basketball. More on this later, as I will explain how Spain used basketball to conquer football. This will sound crazy, but Spanish football wasn't always about the free-flowing passing game we now expect. For decades, Spain's national team was famed for their direct pressing and physical style of play. Spanish-based journalist and broadcaster Graham Hunter recalls how different the style was. Creative midfielders existed before Luis Aragonés took over in 2004, but remember that Aragonés came from a talented era. The football that Spain played was still called La Furia Roja, said Hunter. In the early 1980s, Athletic and Real Sociedad had a fierce rivalry. The Basques in 79, 80, 81, and 82 wanted to kick the F out of Barcelona. While they were full of skillful players, they were brutally hard. There have been many players who you could transplant out of Spain and into any physical era of English football. Then came Johan Cruyff. He returned to Barcelona as manager in 1988. The Dutchman inherited a side that had won just one league title in 14 years. He immediately demanded a very technical, attractive style of play. What followed changed the face of football forever. Cruyff's dream team played a style of football rarely seen before. It adapted the Dutch total football philosophy into a 3-4-3 system. Barcelona won 11 trophies in 8 seasons. This included 4 straight league titles, 3 Spanish Super Cups, a Copa del Rey, and a European Cup. Hunter explains how Cruyff impacted Spanish football. His influence is huge. It's not just that he worked at Barcelona several times. Since 1989, the Dream Team sparked jealousy. Everyone wanted to match their skill, technique, and control. Teams, coaches, and kids across the country said, "That's how I want to play. That's what I admire." And so, inspired by Cruyff, the shift in Spanish football culture began. The transformation from La Furia Roja to merely La Roja began in 1995. Spanish football transformed itself top to bottom. It now specializes in winning. It did this by examining its past, solving internal problems, and creating a culture of change. The Real Federación Española de Fútbol committed to a national coaching program. It aimed to provide high-level, accessible coaching education. This ensured that talent from across the country had access to, notably, the qualified coaching methods from a young age. Other nations import top talent to attract marketing and fans. Spain's approach was to win that battle by producing better players. Every July, Melendez, Spain's head coach, will meet with 19 regional scouts who volunteer. They will agree on a list of the best 55, 14, and 15-year-olds in the country, 5 for each position on the under-15 team. This is done for the under-16s, under-17s, and under-18s. The under-19s and under-21s will gather a squad of 33 to 40 players. Spain's players will be drilled on what to do with the ball, when to press, and how far to keep the lines between defense, midfield, and attack. There is a strong focus on when to move the ball quickly, where each player must be in relation to the two around him, and who will form their triangles. They aim to use these triangles to gain a numerical advantage in match situations. The top 15 players aged 14 and 15 will live and train at the National Training Center near Madrid for 3 days, once a month, during the football season. This allows the youngsters to learn the Spanish way, developing them as players and as people. In January, the 55 will become 33. The best 3 players at each position will study until a summer tournament. The consistency of the system has led to an outstanding level of player development and an era of Spanish domination. La Liga has the highest share of domestic players. Over the past decade, more than 50% of the division are Spaniards. In La Liga, almost every team has a young Spanish midfielder. He plays regularly in their first team. In Spanish football, there's a belief in young players. They are trusted and given time to develop. The environment and culture in Spain also play a role in how players develop their skills. Spain-based football journalist Ewan McTair explains that the climate allows for more football. This is especially true for young children playing in the streets. He says, kids in Spain will spend more time playing football than in the UK, where kids are more likely to sit in, watch TV, and play PlayStation. In Spain, they're more likely to go out. It's partially cultural. Parents there are more open to letting their kids play in the street, like UK parents did 20 years ago. The weather helps as well. They can play football for 300 days a year. There's also more space made available for football facilities, even in major towns and cities. This increases opportunities for kids to play futsal and street football, where close control and passing are key. Hunter explains the impact on young footballers. Our climate means there is a multi-court on almost every big street corner. There will be small 5-a-side goals, not like the letterbox style we've got in the UK, but like upright hockey-side goals. In these small-sided or futsal games, they use a very heavy, small ball. You can't kick it long distances. Therefore, when you're growing up, if you can't kick a ball long distance, then lo and behold, what is it that you learn to do? You learn to control and produce tricks. Getting past somebody is a lot about nuance and confidence. Across Spain, you'll see a special ability with the ball. It includes making passing movements to use space. This opens a closed, small, and heavy ball game. Although football is Spain's major sport, it's closely followed by basketball. Spain's passion for basketball affects its football style. Spain is a big basketball country, but England is not. It's a passion in Spain, and it competes for the front page of the sports papers. Guardiola is a massive proponent of basketball. Spanish coaches now often use basketball tactics to give their side an advantage. Arteta is another Spanish coach who has taken inspiration from basketball. Their comparisons between Arsenal's play and basketball started 25 months ago. Curiosity sparked when Martin Odegaard did 2 basketball-inspired celebrations in a matter of weeks. They were in away matches at Brighton and Hove Albion and Tottenham Hotspur. Odegaard later confirmed.
During the off-season, have you been hooping at all? Working on your game? Working on that jumper?
I've never really played basketball, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just something we have in the team. It's like like a principle we have in the team. It's called the basketball rule, and it's basically just being in front of the man. And on this goal where I did it the first time, I was on the edge of the box on the corner and I had to be in front, and I scored.
And he's done it again.
You kind of thought of it on the spot? Or?
Yeah, it just came to me in that moment because something we talk about a lot, you know, and when you have something called the basketball rule, you're always going to remember it, you know, so yeah, it just came to me in the moment.
It's just a principle we have in the team called the basketball rule, and it's about being in front of the man. This was to explain his goal away at Brighton when he reached a loose ball before Mitoma on the edge of the box to finish. Earlier that month, Reiss Nelson was asked about Arsenal's quick turnovers in their mid-season friendlies. He said, "We call it the basketball rule. In basketball, there's a lot of rebounds, so that's something the boss has incorporated into our style." Arsenal ranked second in the Premier League last season for winning possession in the final third. Pressuring the ball appears to be a key part of this basketball rule. In basketball, man-to-man defense means keeping the ball in front. A defender must not let a dribbler get past. The best defenders in the sport take it a step further and apply pressure on the ball handler, looking to force a mistake. Those moments lead to what is the most obvious comparison made between football and basketball: transitions. In the 1980s, Magic Johnson, the legendary Lakers star, popularized a fast break in basketball. The idea is to get the ball via turnover or rebound and race to the offensive end of the court before the defense can get set. They call it Showtime when the Lakers did it because it was an exciting style of play. Now, it's a staple of NBA basketball. The Golden State Warriors, led by Stephen Curry, became an NBA dynasty with 5 titles in 8 years by thriving in transition. We see the same traits in Arsenal. They pounce on the ball, force turnovers, and apply pressure on the opposing defense. They look for chances to break quickly. Arsenal uses this basketball transition rule. When you're ahead of the ball, you run wide. When you're behind the ball, run down the middle. A great example of this is Odegaard's goal versus Tottenham. Saka receives it wide from Partey playing deeper. Then Saka sees Odegaard behind him running centrally and lays it off for him. A key attribute of Arsenal's counterattacks is that 5 players race into the final third whenever they attack. It would become 6 when Ben White overlapped, but even with 5, they often took up the width of the pitch before exploiting space more centrally. There are 2 examples of this. One against Manchester City, where Bukayo Saka joins the move late to finish while Martinelli is out wide. The other is against Liverpool, where Saka is the wide outlet and Gabriel Martinelli waits to burst into a more central space to score. Arsenal's use of blockers shows basketball similarities. Lacazette obstructs Ake to create space for Saka's goal against Manchester City in 2022. Blocking is more often seen in Arsenal's set-piece routines. Blocking is regularly used in basketball to help progress play and score points. Cross-sport similarities have also been seen in how Arsenal move the ball, specifically out wide. Arsenal fans will be familiar with White waiting for Saka to make a run inside a full-back before passing into that space for him to receive, as seen below. Arteta wants his wingers to move. He said so while earning his coaching qualifications. "I don't like creating straight lines between the wide players." Why? Because the fullback passes to the wide player like this with his back to goal. He can't progress the play. There's always someone at his bump, so he cannot play forward. These passes are like the off-ball cutting movements in basketball. Players dart across a defender to receive a pass in space. They have been vital to White and Saka's relationship on the right and helped Arsenal become more threatening over the past 2 seasons. This off-the-ball movement was inspired by the way Steph Curry receives before shooting. LeBron James, too. Arteta is the coach who uses basketball tactics the most, but it was Pep Guardiola who started the trend NBA and football merging. Svetislav Pešić has been coaching basketball for 50-plus years. Throughout his lengthy career, he's met multiple greats of other sports as well. Pešić has formed a relationship with Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola. He's widely regarded as the best football mind in the world. Mazzola has credited Guardiola with helping him to mastermind the Celtics' win over Dallas in the championship. "Dallas are the best defensive teams in the league," he said. "That's kind of what Pep has helped me with, spacing. It's very important. Transitions, how you move those guys." Guardiola's influence on the Celtics goes beyond one summer chat. Mazzola talked with the city boss after watching the team train in Manchester in February. He has noted the similarities between football, basketball, and other sports. "I think where basketball and football are the same is that the transitions happen so fast. You can be on the offense, and 2 seconds later, you can be on defense, so the game is constantly changing. To me, it doesn't matter the sport, lacrosse, football, or basketball. Those one-on-one situations have the same fundamentals." A tenet of Mazzola's Celtics is to think fast, play slow. To anyone who has seen Guardiola's City attack a low block, taking a coffee as he calls it, those words will show how far those ideas have spread. Finals MVP Jaylen Brown said them. "I feel like I can score with the best of them on anybody," he said earlier this year. But when you identify and manipulate the game and get the right matchups, playing slow and taking your time leads to easier baskets. Then they start doubling. "You want to double? Okay, I'm going to drag the double out and make the right play, and our team is going to get open looks." Yet, for all the examples of Guardiola's influence, it can be overlooked that he seeks to learn from others. He wants to find something useful to apply to his own work. "Ideas belong to everyone. I have stolen as many as I could," Guardiola says in Martí Pedernau's first book on the manager, Pep Confidential. Pedernau lists many football influences: Johan Cruyff, Arrigo Sacchi, and Juan Malilo. He also cites the passion and aggression of Argentina and Scotland. But there are countless examples of Guardiola borrowing from other sports. He wants to know things and is very inquisitive, Pedernau said in an interview in 2016. "Not everything is simply about following the Johan way of playing." Football and basketball, when I watch it, it's kind of the same sport from that tactical standpoint of how you create advantages. Spain's focus on tactics has given its players and coaches an edge. Since 2008, the men's team has won 4 international trophies. They are the most dominant international side in the 21st century. Their players are among the best. Their coaches are all over Europe. Everyone knows the national philosophy is the best in football right now. Some international tournaments captivate with their energy and joy. They showcase flamboyant football or era-defining tactical revolutions. The watching world saw the triumphs and disasters. They can revive childhood summer memories and a love for the game. Some lesser tournaments may make us question it. The Spain 2024 team reminded me of Spain in 2008. They were as dominant as ever in possession, but they were more aggressive in transitions than the 2010-2012 group. That group was full of quick thinkers. They played slowly and passed teams into submission. Spain shows how to take tactics from one sport and use them in another to dominate. Their football philosophy ranks supreme, and they won't stop anytime soon. Can Spain one day surpass Brazil as the best football nation ever? Check out our previous video on how the school system has turned football into artificial intelligence.